You know what's strange? Two people can start from the same place, same education, same opportunities, sometimes even the same problems, and yet years later, one person is thriving while the other feels stuck. And most people think the difference is talent, or luck, or connections. But psychology says something else. The real difference is the game happening inside the mind. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about the way you think before you do it. Today, I want to talk about something I call the mindset game, because life is not just hard work versus laziness, it's a psychological game. The rules are invisible, but once you understand them, everything changes. This video isn't about fake motivation. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. or pretending to be productive. This is about understanding how successful people think differently and how you can train your brain to play the same game. So sit back, relax, and let's talk honestly, because this might change the way you look at yourself forever. Your brain is playing to protect you, not to make you successful. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain's main job is not to make you successful. Its job is to keep you safe. And safety usually means avoid risk, avoid embarrassment, avoid failure, stay comfortable. That's why starting something new feels scary. That's why your mind says, what if I fail? What will people think? Maybe later. Psychologists call this loss aversion. We feel the pain of losing more strongly than the joy of winning. So your brain naturally tries to stop you from taking chances. But success requires the opposite. It requires discomfort. It requires uncertainty. And the moment you understand this, you stop thinking something is wrong with you. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just human. The mindset game starts when you realize you don't have to obey every thought your brain gives you. The identity trap. Let me ask you something. How do you describe yourself in your head? Maybe you say, I'm not disciplined. I'm not smart enough. I always quit. I'm just unlucky. Here's the psychological truth. Your brain loves consistency. If you believe you're someone who quits, your actions will quietly prove that belief right. This is called identity-based behavior. People don't act based on goals, they act based on who they believe they are. Think about it. Someone who says, I'm a runner, doesn't need motivation to run. Someone who says, I'm trying to run, struggles every day. The mindset game changes when you stop chasing success and start changing identity. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, say, I am someone who finishes what they start. Small shift, huge impact. Your brain listens to your words more than you realize. The comparison poison. We live in a world where everyone's highlight reel is in our pocket. Social media shows people succeeding, winning, traveling, making money, and suddenly your own progress feels slow. Psychology calls this social comparison theory. We measure ourselves against others to understand our own value. But the problem is, you're comparing your real life to someone else's edited story. And comparison does two dangerous things. It kills gratitude, it kills momentum. Because when you feel behind, you stop moving. Successful people play a different mindset game. They compare themselves only to who they were yesterday. That's it. 1% better each day sounds small, but over time it becomes massive. Imagine improving just slightly every day for 1 year. You wouldn't recognize yourself. Failure is not what you think it is. Most people avoid failure because they think failure means they're not good enough. But psychologically, failure is just feedback. Children learn to walk by failing hundreds of times, but adults treat one failure as proof they should stop. Why? Because ego gets involved. Successful people detach identity from outcomes. Instead of saying, I failed, they say, this strategy failed. Huge difference. One attacks the person, the other improves the process. Your brain learns through repetition and correction. If you never fail, you never gather data. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the tuition fee. The dopamine trap. Let's be honest, modern life is full of easy rewards. Scrolling, notifications, short entertainment. Your brain gets tiny dopamine hits without effort, and dopamine is powerful. It motivates behavior. The problem is, when your brain gets easy rewards, hard work feels boring. Success requires delayed gratification. Psychologists found that people who can delay rewards tend to achieve more long-term goals. The mindset game here is simple. Train your brain to enjoy progress, not just outcomes. Celebrate showing up, consistency, small wins. Because if you only feel good at the finish line, you'll quit halfway. The power of small promises. Confidence isn't built by motivation speeches. It's built by self-trust. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," and don't, your brain remembers. Slowly, you stop believing yourself. But here's the psychological trick. Make smaller promises. Instead of saying, "I'll work for 3 hours," say, "I'll work for 10 minutes." When you keep small promises, your brain learns, "I am someone who follows through." Confidence grows quietly, not in big moments, in tiny, repeated actions. Reframing struggle. Most people think struggle means they're on the wrong path, but psychologically, struggle often means growth. When you learn a new skill, your brain literally forms new neural pathways. This feels uncomfortable, confusing, slow. That discomfort is not a sign to stop, it's proof you're changing. Successful people reinterpret struggle. They don't say, "This is hard, maybe I can't do it." They say, "This is hard, so I must be learning." Same situation, different mindset, different future. Environment beats willpower. Here's a hard truth. Willpower is overrated. Psychology shows that environment shapes behavior more than motivation. If your phone is next to you, you'll check it. If junk food is visible, you'll eat it. If distractions are everywhere, focus disappears. Successful people don't rely on discipline alone. They design environments that make good decisions easier. Simple examples. Keep your workspace clean, remove distractions, put your goals where you can see them. You don't rise to your motivation, you fall to your environment. The long game mindset. Most people quit too early, not because they can't succeed, but because they expect quick results. Psychologists call this the planning fallacy. We underestimate how long things take. Success is often boring, quiet, slow. No dramatic music playing, just daily effort nobody sees. The mindset game is learning patience. If you plant a seed today, you don't dig it up tomorrow to check if it's growing. You water it, you trust the process, and eventually it grows. Self-talk changes your brain. The words you say to yourself matter more than anyone else's opinion. Negative self-talk increases stress and lowers performance. Supportive self-talk improves resilience and problem-solving. Imagine two voices. Voice 1, "You're not good enough." Voice 2, "You're learning. Keep going." Which one leads to progress? Speak to yourself like someone you care about, because your brain is always listening. The success paradox. Here's the paradox. People who obsess over success often feel miserable. Why? Because happiness keeps moving further away. Psychology suggests focusing on meaningful actions instead of outcomes leads to greater satisfaction. In other words, don't chase success. Become someone who creates value, grows daily, and keeps going. Success becomes a side effect. The moment everything changes. At some point, successful people experience a shift. They stop asking, "How do I stay motivated?" and start asking, "How do I become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation?" That shift changes everything, because motivation fades, identity stays. Outro, the final message, last 2 to 3 minutes. So here's what I want you to remember from this video. Success is not a secret club. It's not reserved for lucky people. It's a mindset game. Your brain will try to protect you from discomfort. You'll compare yourself to others. You'll feel like quitting. That's normal. But every small decision rewires your mind. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you choose growth over comfort, you level up in this game. And one day, people will look at you and say, "Wow, you got lucky." But you'll know the truth. You just learned how to play the mindset game. If this video spoke to you, don't just watch and move on. Choose one small action today. Because transformation doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins right now. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment your story changes. Remember, Your future isn't decided by one big decision. It's built by the thoughts you repeat every day.